get this text from my wife's sister. Hey, happy anniversary, you two. Like, pit in my stomach. For you two. And I just like pit in my stomach. And I'm like, no fucking way. Right? Like, no way. I look at the date and I'm like, oh shit. What's up, guys? This is cool. We got a new spot. Check it out. Oh, it's so sweet. Look at my goose down here. And good girl, Gooey. Yeah. It's from the last place, from our last usual walk spot. It's we got kicked out. That's pretty much what happened, and it's okay. It's just kind of part of the game. And really, this spot that we got here is like, bro, like the view is so good. So yeah, pretty awesome. Yeah, and so today it's my wife and I's 12-year together anniversary, and 6 years married anniversary. It's beautiful. I love her so much, and we're gonna talk a bit about a moment that I'm not as proud of. So last year I missed our anniversary, and I was gonna say forgot, but what's hard about it is it's not that I forgot the day, because I think that's like the trope, right? Of like, oh man, the husband forgot what day it is. You know, it's like, I didn't forget the date, but I did forget what day it was. And I did like not act on thinking ahead and working on, you know, preparing like a little gift or surprise or a connection moment. And that right there was like, it was me lowering it on my priority list that created the overall issue. And then that transformed into me not doing anything about it, and having our day become something that overall, like our relationship, our connection, this honoring of this another year together, putting that lower on my priority list, which then kind of, I just went through a workshop this weekend where we talked a lot about the unconscious mind, and ultimately what I was doing was telling kind of my deeper self, nah, it's not that big of a deal to me, which at the time, you know, I was busy, right? I was thinking about so much else and had so many other things going on in my life, and I'm like, oh yeah, well, I got to order this gift, or I got to, you know, it's like, it became a checkbox. That was something too my partner and I have talked a lot about over the years, is sometimes I can be very black and white and literal. And so if you ask me or tell me to do something or say something like, I wish that you would, you know, I wish that we'd have more dates together, right? Instead of me like integrating this idea of like, oh, I should be more thoughtful around dating and putting, you know, little dates on the calendar, things like that, it becomes checkboxy. Like, okay, every 2 weeks on Wednesday, I'm gonna put a date on the calendar, and I'm gonna figure out 3 to 4 of them right now so that I don't have to think about it. You're like, checkbox, you know? And it's like, yes, initially, sometimes you have to do that to get this pattern and this like habit in place. But the ultimate goal here, right, is that it comes from a loving and connected place. And so that's also, you know, one of those things where it's just, I don't know, it's a slow and steady, right? Slow and steady and thoughtful process. And so anyways, with all that, last year, I'm going to tell the story because it's, it's one of those moments where I'm not proud of it. And, it's just the way it is, you know. We got a dog over here. My little Bubba, she's a very triggered doggy. She's a rescue, and she just has a hard time with other dogs, and we're working on it. That's the best thing I can ask, is that she's always working on it. And so anyways, yeah, not one of my proudest moments last year. And we were we're in the middle of a bedroom, like room reset. So we were like we were transitioning rooms in our home, and it was just any other day. I think I probably was doing I'm self-employed. I was probably doing some work at home, and life is happening, whatever. And I feel like it was like the middle of the day. It was like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. And of course, at this point, I hadn't brought it up because I hadn't thought about it. It had lost, like, I totally lost track of what day it was. I get this text from my wife's sister that says, "Hey, happy anniversary, you two." And I just like pit in my stomach. And I'm like, no fucking way, right? Like, no way. I look at the date and I'm like, oh shit. And so I come upstairs and my wife is painting our now to be moved into new bedroom space. And I come in and I'm like, I kind of like, it's so hard because I come in with this like cute, sad, but real face. Like we've navigated so much conflict, and like we've gained so many tools around navigating conflict that it's no longer something that's like, a few years ago it might have been like a blow up, all these things and justifications and all that. And now it was more like, I came in and I'm like, babe, oh my gosh, it's our anniversary. Like, I'm so sorry. And she looks at me and she goes, it's okay. I had a feeling you forgot. And just like that portion, just hit me hard. Like, it was like, she was so sad and so disappointed. And that just like, oh man, it hit me. It hurt so bad, and we were at least like, we've gone through enough work together that we were able to like talk about it. She was mad and sad, but we were able to kind of work our way through it, and create, a conscientious, like new pattern together, which was exactly what was needed. And then anyways, it kind of became this thing too, where not only did I forget the day, but my priorities were still off. I still thought like, oh, she didn't yell at me, so she's not that mad. Wrong, right? The other side was, we didn't have this big, huge blow up, so it's not that bad. I'm not like in trouble, which is that's like something we've worked on for years around being in trouble. And that's something too, like, that has nothing to do with any of it. There's no being in trouble. And so then step 2 of this was, I kind of like, something inside of me, same with this lower priority, I was off the hook. And being off the hook was like, sorry, we hugged it out, we had a cry together. I was like, oh, we're good. And then like, I kind of like let it go. And I want to say, this is like always hard because I didn't like write it down, but it was like, either it was later that day or maybe the next day, where she was like, that's when I kind of got this extra, like, she's got a really, I love her for this because she's very honest and like sassy about it. Like, she'll fucking tell me, which is exactly what I need in a partner, because I can be very inferential, and like I'll just infer things and assume, and like, if you say something along the lines of like, like, oh, I'm thirsty, in my mind it's kind of the anxiety response will say like, oh, she probably wants you to fill her water. But she's very literal, and maybe she's getting to the point of asking me to fill her water, but it's also like, she's literally just telling me, oh man, I'm thirsty, and like, it means nothing else. That's it. That's as far as it went. And so then we've learned to navigate that as well. And so she was able to then tell me about, like, I want to say it was the next day. Tell me like, that's it. You're not gonna like make it up to me, kind of thing. Like, what the fuck, And so we had this whole time together where I then like get another huge drop in my gut, and I get this like hot heat in my chest, and I'm just feeling like, damn it, like what the heck, like what were you thinking, you know? And comes back to this priority, right? Comes back to prioritizing this relationship and being willing to put her, it's hard because it's not first, right? That's a part of this too, is like, for a lot of us, we're playing this game of like, oh, you know, always put your partner first. And like, that's not always correct either. There's a layer to this where it's putting yourself first, but it's making sure that your highest priorities are like right next to it. Like it's 1 to 1 to 1, because you're pretty much on an even playing field. But if I always put her first or someone else first or something else first, then I'm never going to take care of myself in the fullest way so that I can show up as my best self. And so that right there, like she was so much lower on my priorities and like this importance in my life. And it's hard, guys. This is like, sometimes you get a second chance. And it's not to say like we sat there, she goes, I'm giving you a second chance. That's not how this happened. It's like throughout our lives, like you choose to fall back in love. You choose to be with each other. And that's a part of this too, is like, even I remember in our wedding vows 6 years ago, like I agreed to choose you every day. And that's a part of this. And I stopped choosing her every day. And not that I was choosing somebody else. If we really want to get deep on it, I was choosing somebody else. I was choosing like my business, or I was choosing like my own, selfish. It was no longer me taking care of me. It was me choosing activities or whatever else that I wanted to do for myself. And, I gotta show you this view. This is just so good. Hopefully the 0.5 is giving you something. I gotta test some different camera angles out here. But, yeah, guys, so ultimately I ended up, clocking back in, fostering this love and relationship with her, and going out, getting a small token of love and gratitude and presenting it to her in a cute way, and like helping her to feel special. And then not only that, but like telling her, in a few different ways that I'll never forget again. And I can't promise that I'll deliver the moon next year or whatever it is, but I can promise that I'm going to be thoughtful and talk about it and open about it. And like, it's something that's important to me, and that it moved up on my priority list. And not only the date or this time, of celebrating us and honoring our time together, but it is like, I'm honoring us more. I'm putting us higher on this priority list. And that's the goal. Like, that's the ultimate piece that continues to keep your goals, your relationships, like anything that you're doing in this life, it keeps it higher because you continue to reorient yourself to like this ultimate path, this ultimate destination. They were talking about in this workshop this weekend, they talked a lot about like if you were to take a plane, I'm in Boise, Idaho. If you were to take a plane from Boise to like Hawaii, and you were 1% off, like you're not even going to be anywhere near the islands by the time you get there, or by the time you would have gotten there. And that's exactly the mind state here of what this, like, all it takes is this one, degree or 1% of adjustment where you stop giving your full 100% and that care and gratitude to your partner, to this person that you chose and they chose you. And like, especially, we're lucky in the sense that we don't have kids, we don't want kids. If you want kids, awesome. It's not our thing. I love kids. I love my friends' kids. And now I'm 35. I have plenty of friends that have kids that are newborns and that are kind of grown up. They're teenagers now. And that right there, like, understanding the amount of time, effort, energy that you have to spend on your children and then also have to come back to each other after that, like, hats off. That's so much. And I already know from talking to a lot of my friends that their personal relationships with each other, you know, with their partner is, I don't want to call it lackluster, because it's still like beautiful, right? They're still working through it. Hey, come on. They're still working on it, and connected, but they're not as connected as they could be. And I think that right there is very telling, right? The amount of time that you have to spend, and especially that you want to spend on your children, and on your family unit, it becomes less with your partner. That partner time becomes less and less. And so I think let's turn around. I think we just hit a mile. Let's see. We sure did. Come on, doggies. We're flipping around. And yeah, and so it's you know, the biggest thing for me today, you know, I guess like the zoom out, the chunk up in all this is this year we've been talking about it. That's something too, like we've been talking about the anniversary coming up, and we've been connecting, and we've been able to laugh a little bit about it, about last year. And like, that's important. It's important to laugh about it, and to not take everything so seriously. Although the feelings, everything that was like included and involved, like it was all real. It was all really real. And I think that's something too that can get misconstrued, is all of a sudden your feelings in it weren't so real, or the feelings were funny. And that's not at all the case. And so, you know, I kind of did a couple things this year where I like had made like it's a little softening joke and connection joke around like, oh man, like I'm gonna forget again, ha ha ha, or like, you know, or I remember I wrote in like, I think in her birthday card, something like, you know, I'm so glad I didn't forget about this one, like. And so things like that where it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. It's a little bit of me saying sorry in a different way, in this inferential way, right? That's me saying sorry in a way. And it's also, you know, for me, knowing that, all right, like it's now been 1 year since this happened. It can be a little inside joke for the rest of our lives. That's fine. But I'm not going to be bringing it up anymore, because it's past enough time where I don't want to like keep, there's a layer of trust that we're rebuilding, and I don't want her to ever think that she can't trust that I'll remember us and prioritize us. That was something that we worked on these last couple of years, and it was like, my gosh, guys, like it broke my heart when I was like, I felt like we as a couple and our connection was thriving and we're crushing it. Like we are so clocked in, and I was feeling so good, and we both were feeling good, because that's a part of this too, is like sometimes when you're in your shit, you're thinking that you're thriving, that you and your partner are thriving, everyone's thriving, and then all it takes is one conversation with your partner where they go like, I just don't feel good about us right now. And you're like, what do you mean? I feel great about us. And then that's not a what do you mean? I feel great. That has not, you didn't even ask them a question. Like, what do you mean? That's not even a validating question. Like, you have to be curious and open, especially if your partner gives you some kind of information like that. Like, the best is to take a beat, take a breath, and like be willing to hear that and go, fuck, all right, I need to reset, like reframe. I need to meet this with curiosity and something else. Because that right there is going to lead you down this path of, you know, destruction, divorce, separation, right? And it's different if that's what you want, right? That's different. But if you want to stay with your partner and stay connected, like it's just, this is the kind of attitude and connection that is going to continue to facilitate, a thriving, lasting, loving, connection and compassionate relationship. And so I just remember that feeling of being so clocked in and being like, oh man, like we're so in love again, how special. and then bam, like I forget this important day. That's, in the grandest scheme of things, if you think about it, it's the same with Christmas or any other holidays that you might celebrate together. Like my wife and I met when we were in our early 20s. We're both like 23, and if you think about it, like if we're lucky, let's say we're together and into our, let's say 80s, okay? And so into our 80s, so in our math we get 60, we'll say 67, let's say we both make it to 80, and so that means potentially we could get up to 67 birthdays, anniversaries, like one a year, right? One a year. And 67 times, right? Like shit, 67 times to like reground and reset in your relationship or in your connection. Like that right there, like that's nothing, right? The amount of times, think about the amount of times you've put on your shoes. Think about the amount of times you've brushed your teeth, or the amount of times you've maybe chosen to have a different meal at a restaurant to take care of yourself. The amount of times you've exercised, right? That it's like all these other things that like you start to prioritize your relationship and your connection and what's most important to you, and that right there is going to give you like it's this countless repetition of love and reintegration of telling yourself like I remember how easy it was to be in love in my 20s, and like the honeymoon phase, and how special that was. And you kind of like, having been in a few longer relationships before my wife and I met, like you feel it disappear, but if you lean in right and you continue to check in and continue to grow together, like on this last year, like we fell back in love again, and we are now back in this honeymoon phase, and it is beautiful. It's so special. Esther Perel, she is a like love and sex therapist. Fantastic work. If you want to get deeper on some of your work, Esther Perel has so many resources, so much greatness to be shared with you. And she says that majority of people fall in love like 3 times. You get 3 kind of like deep loves in your life. That first time, can be kind of our first love, our first experience. And that right there, it's usually it's short, sweet, this beautiful, hot flame that you may not be with forever, right? Now you go into this second love, right? You fall in love again, and this is typically with life partner. And now this third time, she talks about you kind of have this moment in your life where in a relationship, typically this will happen in a long-term relationship, where you'll be falling out of love. You'll be at, past a certain time marker, whatever that looks like in your relationship. We're all a little different. And you feel this stagnation. You feel this, maybe it's all the things like boredom, distance. It's less priority together. It's everything that you kind of like would prefer not to feel in a relationship, right? And that is usually the tipping point, or the beginning of the tipping point for things like, you start to emotionally sever. You start to, people start to have, these levels of emotional and partial physical affairs, where they start giving other people that attention rather than putting it back on their partner. And so, what you can also find is if you reset and allow yourself to be curious and reconnect with your partner, you'll get to fall in love again. And like, we're right in the throes of that. And it's so special. And like, now I finally get how some of our like, you know, I have some elders in my life that they're so in love still. And, you know, there's a layer to it too, where I'm not in their relationship. So who knows what their day to day is. But when they're presenting like in a daily life, they're so in love. And that right there, it's like, you can tell that that's translating from a foundation that they've created together at home. And like, that's the win. That's the win right there. And that's the goal, to continue to prioritize your partner, your relationship, and of course yourself, so that you guys can stay in love, and then so that you can continue to enjoy this wonderful life. And you can have all the things. Like, definitely, like, if you're child free like I am, this is like, we have so much time. And when you start putting this priority back into your relationship and into this connection, you'll find that the level of freedom that you're allowed to like give yourself and your partner it's unmatched. Like, it's such a beautiful thing. And I just you know, I appreciate it. And the pitfalls, they're all learning opportunities. Any of this like failure is feedback. You know, it sure, like, I don't want to make it soft. I don't want to make it something that's like, yeah, I forgot our anniversary. But like, it's not that I forgot the anniversary. It's that I forgot about the honoring of us. I forgot about the honoring of our day. And that's the key here. That's the miss. And like, I don't ever want to forget that again. Hopefully this reaches somebody out there in the multiverse that you've been needing a reset. And that's all it takes. Just clocking back in, making sure that you're prioritizing yourself, making sure that you're prioritizing your partner, and just knowing that if you in your heart, or in your kind of this unconscious and deeper lower self, if you know, treasure this relationship, then it's worth putting time into, and it's worth fighting for. And if you got in a fight this weekend, or maybe you got in a fight today, maybe you saw this video and got in a fight like that, that's all good. That's important too. What's important to keep in mind is that all that failure is feedback. Anything that causes you an issue or causes you to struggle, like, this is an opportunity to grow with it and to allow it to transform your life. And the view of this is, this could be, shoot, I realized that we need to separate. I realized that we shouldn't be together anymore. And that is okay. Realizing that's okay. Being willing to give that gift to yourself and to your partner so that you guys can move on into your own lives. That's okay. And on the other side, you needed some kind of big moment, like forgetting an anniversary, to spike that curiosity and that connection again. Like, you then both come together and decide, no, we love each other. We want to be together. This is who we are and who we want to be. That's okay. That's the win. Like, they're all versions of growth, connection, and you're choosing what you want in this life. And that's the ultimate goal. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. I hope you learned something. I hope this is insightful. If you have any questions, please ask. I'm so willing to connect with anyone that wants to connect. You know, like, subscribe, follow me on my other platforms. I love you. Hope you're having a great week, great day, great weekend, and stay curious. See ya.